What's up, everybody? Z3KO Trinity here. Welcome back to Goosebumps 3KO. Our next book review that we're going to be reviewing today is A Night in Terror Tower. That's a really nice cover too. I like that guy. Yeah. This was a pretty decent book, but it definitely has its flaws. So, the first flaw of them all, which I'm going to go right out and say it, I like the episode better than I do the book. The episode did it a lot more gracefully, and I think it was done much better. One of the biggest reasons is the episode, in the beginning, it's about these two kids, a boy and a girl, brother and sister. The boy's name is Eddie, and the girl's name is Sue. And they're apparently a part of this tour guide in London, and they're going to see the Terror Tower, this place that they used to keep prisoners for not doing their taxes and stuff like that. They would chain them up, torture them, and all kinds of stuff. Which is actually pretty cool. I liked the setting a lot. I liked the Terror Tower. The setting and the history aspect was really good. I like that about the story. So, just putting it right there. I liked the Terror Tower, the history behind it. Great setting for a book or an episode. But while they're in the tour guide of the tower, the tour guide tells them about the prince and princess, and that's all he refers to them in the episode. In the book, it literally says in the beginning, Prince Edward and his sister Susanna. Eddie and Sue. Edward and Susanna? I don't see this plot twist coming at all. Like, R.L. Stine, could you have been a little bit discreet? You could have just went with the episode and just said, the prince and princess was to be murdered by their uncle. Nope, you had to just throw out the obvious. Prince Edward and Susanna. Okay, well, I did not see this ending coming at all. So yeah, that's one of the biggest flaws, in my personal opinion, in the book. And even if I was like a kid reading this, I probably would have just picked up on that immediately. That was like way too obvious. So yeah, that's a pretty big flaw for the book, in my opinion. But what is it about? It's about these two kids. They're going on this tour, and they somehow get separated from the tour. And they run into this guy. He's just a statue. He's a cool-looking statue. But they also happen to run into this really creepy guy that seems to be staring at him. He has a big hat. He's got black clothes. And he's just weird. He just keeps staring at them. And it's as if he's following them. Well, anyway, they get separated from the pact, and when they're trying to reconnect with them, they can't find nobody. And then they finally find somebody, and he tells them that the place is closed and all this stuff. Well, then they happen to see this guy in black, the man in black, and they're like, hey, excuse me, where's the tour? And he's just all creepy, like, come with me. And they're just like, oh, are you going to take us back to the tour group? And he's just like, come with me. And they're like, no, we won't. And then he's like grabbing these stones. He's got 3 stones. You know, he grabs his stones, and then he twirls them around, and he's trying to use this voodoo magic. And then it's funny because he actually ends up dropping one, like, oh shit. Well, they run away. And honestly, this book consists of a lot of chasing. There is a lot of him chasing these kids throughout the tower, throughout the town. But, yeah. Anyway, to move the plot forward, they get out of the tower, they're in this town, and they get a cab. And the cab driver's like, I need money to take you to the hotel back where your parents are. So they give him the money the parents give him. Turns out it was Monopoly money. Not really Monopoly money. It's just fake money. And the guy's like, are you going to pay me or not? And so they get like scared. And they're like, well, we have to go get it from our mom and dad. And so they go into this hotel where their parents are supposedly having some kind of meeting. And they go there. And they're like, hey, yo, where's mommy and daddy? And they're like, well, what's their names? And then, probably one of the creepiest parts about this story is the fact that they can't remember their names. They can't even remember their own last names. And to beat it all, they can't even remember anything before going on this tour guide trip. Like, they can't remember yesterday, nothing. I need a drink of water. Apparently I needed to wear it too. I guess there was a hole in the cup. Oh well. So, they're looking into it. Apparently there's no meeting at the hotel. And they're like, well, what's going on? Where's our mom and dad? So they go up to the room, supposed room that they're in. But it's just an empty room. There's nobody staying in that room. So they're like, what the hell is going on? What's going on? And, well, the man in black shows up. The cab guy shows up. Donald Duck shows up. I mean, everybody just shows up, and their kids are just like, oh, shit, what do we do now? And somehow, and yes, this is where the spoilers come in, so if you don't want it spoiled, you can click off now. Unless you're not one of those people living in the Stone Ages, have actually seen the episode or read the book. But here we go. They somehow travel back in time, back in the ancient times, and all these people, they're thinking they're in costumes. They're like eating big old T-bone deer and moose off the bone. And they're just nasty, and they go out and everyone's wearing these costumes, and they're like, well, what happened to the hotel? What's the deal? Well, Eddie vanishes. He just, out of nowhere, vanishes. And so Sue is looking for him, and she runs into the man in black. Which turns out to be the Lord High Executioner. Not just any old executioner from 3rd Avenue. No, he's the Lord High Executioner. So, he's there. He's trying to get Sue. She goes up to this woman. It's probably probably the funniest thing that happens in the book and in the episode. Which I like the actress that played her. She tells this woman, please, you gotta hide me. This guy's looking for me. He's wanting to kill me for some reason. I have no idea. It's not like I'm Susanna. Well, the woman hides her. She takes that money from her. The fake money from our world, but apparently it's like real money in this world. So she takes that money. She get that money. And then she hides her into this thing. Well, the Lord High Executioner comes... Oh, hi. And he's like, where is she? And that woman's like, oh, she's right here. I got her in this basket for you. Fuck her. So she hands her over, and Lord High Executioner flips a coin into her hand. So she trades her off. She gets paid twice. And then she went on and started OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah. So the Lord High Executioner's got her. He takes her to the tower, up at the tippity top. and she's reunited with her brother, and apparently that's where they meet this weird old Dumbledore magician named Morgred. And then here's where the whirlwind comes into play. The big plot twist that no one's gonna see coming ever. It turns out that they were actually Edward and Susanna, the prince and princess that had escaped years and years ago. Turns out it was them. What had happened was their uncle, their parents are dead. The uncle, I guess he killed the parents. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read it, but he's wanting to rule. So in order for him to rule, he has to kill the kids. So pretty damn dark. He has them put in a tower, and he wants them smothered to death. Dang. That's pretty rough. I mean, not just, off with their heads. I mean, he wants them smothered to death. That's creepy. But apparently this magician helped them escape into the 1990s. And that's why they didn't remember anything, because the spell was incomplete. So, yeah, that's what happened. Apparently the Lord High Executioner got wind of it, followed them into the 1990s. What he should have done was send them to 2020. That way the Lord High Executioner couldn't have been 6 feet from him. Because of COVID. That's right. COVID joke. But anyway. So the magician starts breaking down in tears. These little pussies. He's like, I failed you. I failed your parents. And so instead, they're like, well, why don't you just do the trick again? And he's like, I don't have the stones. I ain't got the stones to do it. And then Eddie was like, oh, wait, what are these? And because he's the best pickpocket in the world, in the universe. So he apparently got a hold of the stones. And so the magician, he was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And he's just like, I can't do it. I failed you. And he's crying like a little bitch. And so the kids freak out for a minute. But then the kid's like, wait a minute. I know what the chant is. So they do the spell. And zippity-doo-dah, they're back into the 1990s. And then somehow, Morgred, the crying magician, just appears with them. And he's like, oh, hey, thanks for saving me too. He's like, I'll be your father. And we'll live this happily life together, happily ever after. Oh, you were crying like a little bitch a second ago, didn't want nothing to do with them, but now you're going to be their daddy? Okay, that makes sense. So they're like, yeah! And I think it ends like really stupid. Like the last line in the book, Eddie and I each let out a loud groan. I think I've had enough spells to last a lifetime, I said. How about we go to Burger Palace and go to McDonald's and get some good old 20th century hamburgers and fries. The end. Now, ain't that the stupidest last line? Let's all go to McDonald's and get a double quarter pounder. So yeah. The episode had a little bit more edgier ending. I liked the episode. The episode was clean. It was just, the episode was great. The episode was great. This book was not. I liked the atmosphere of the book. Love the tower. Love the history. But there's no surprise here. There was no surprise. Like, that plot twist could have been seen through a blind man. And just the whole character of Morgred is stupid. Like, he was able to help him once, but not again? And then he's like crying his eyes out 1 minute, saying he failed him. And then the next minute, oh, he's their daddy. He's their new daddy. So, yeah. Alrighty then. Well. So I review this book, this Night in Terror Tower. It gets a solid 4 out of 10, which is a D. That's right. Attack of the Jack-O-Lantern was a little bit better than this, in my opinion. In my opinion, don't hate me. It was Attack of the Jack-O-Lantern got a 4.5. It was just a little bit better, not by much. So yeah, 4 out of 10. What did you guys think? Do you guys like the Night in Terror Tower? I was gonna say the Dark Tower. Totally wrong person. But do you guys like this story? Is it one of your favorites? Is it one of your least favorites? Let me know in the comment section below. And I hope you enjoyed my review of it. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I mean, everyone has a different opinion. So just because I didn't like some of the stuff in it, doesn't mean that you don't. You know what I mean? This could be a 10 out of 10 for you. So let's see what it says on the back, shall we? Let's see. It's going to be a long night. L-O-N-G. Yeah, so I like that. That's not too bad. It's just gonna be a long, long night. Alright. All locked up and no place to go. Oh. Sue and her Sue and her brother Eddie are visiting London when they run into a little problem. They can't find their tour group. Still, there's no reason to panic. Whew. Thank God. I was stressed. No way their tour guide would just leave them all alone in a gloomy old prison tower. Tower's a prison? No way they get locked inside after dark with those eerie sounds and a strange dark figure who wants them dead. Oh, reader beware, you're in for a big old scare. Coming soon, the Cock-a-Doodle. Alright, that was Night in Terror Tower. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess see you in the next video! Deuce case!